Kenya, girl, you failed to mention that you was in a throuple with your husband, Marc. It's you, him, and this new girl, Ken. You got some explaining to do. Hey, what's up, you guys? Are you ready to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta? This episode pretty much gave us like a little bit more fun. It was nice seeing the girls do something active, something different from the usual let's go out to eat and yell at each other. Like, it was fun watching them do something, different. But the entertainment came at the end when Mr. Marc Daly basically checked Kenya like it was his duty, like he was a goddamn warden running his, prison hall. Kenya, you ain't got no pull in this damn relationship. And at this point, it's just getting even more sad and sad. Like, the more episodes we see, that he basically, like, dismisses your feelings. And even though I don't, like, really F with you like that, like, girl, it is sad watching you go through this miserable of a relationship. And then I'm also side-eyeing Mr. Mike Hill because you want to get all defensive just because Cynthia was asking questions, which she's very much in her right to do. Like, she's getting ready to marry you. And nigga, you cheated on your two past wives. So yes, I'm going to ask questions. And honestly, Cynthia, you should have been had the answers to these. When those women last time came in for his little lunch and it was 10 women in that damn kitchen, I would have been pulling each one like it was speed date, asking all the questions I could about Mike. Because they'll give you the real tea. Mike, he's going to try to sugarcoat it, but that's just me. Cynthia, I guess you want to live in La La Land, but you realize after this book is coming out, you can't do that for much longer. But yeah, let's get into the episode, you guys. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and then smash the like button as well. Join the fam, okay? So nonetheless, let's start with the episode. We pick up where Eva is laying on the couch. She had a false alarm, at Nene's little jaguar party or leopard party. And so Dr. Jackie put her on house arrest. Lord Jesus. I'm sitting here thinking house arrest. No, they basically bed rest. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, they put her on bed rest. She's sitting there chewing ice, which a lot of pregnant women do. And she's talking to her husband. But then after that, we see Candy talking to her friends on the phone. Y'all, Candy, that bitch can eat. And no matter what, the shit always goes to her thighs and booty. Like, her ass is spreading for days. But while she's sitting there having a good old fantastic lunch, made me hungry. She is getting text messages and calls from everybody over, the planned kickball thing that they're doing with Kenya. So Candy and Kenya planned the thing together, but because Nene heard that Kenya was involved, of course she wants to back out like, never mind, I don't want to go. So then, Kenya called her. She's doing something with her dress, got her areola popping out and stuff. Candy's like, bitch, I'm gonna need you to put the milk duds away. Her titties done got big, like, damn. But she's covering up her areola, talking about how she's fine that Nene ain't coming to the kickball tournament. She blessed her presence at the leopard party. And Katie's like, yeah, you only stay for 7 minutes. And at this point, even though, I don't rock with Kenya, but bitch, like, I showed up late. Like, Nene, you planned your event and then showed up 2.5 hours late. Like, I'm not waiting for you all day. You do this shit every time. At this point, it is no longer fashionably late. It is disrespectful as hell. Sorry, y'all, my voice sounds a little bit different. I got a little sore throat, so it's kind of scratchy. So if the audio is weird, I apologize. But nonetheless, they're talking about the kickball and how everybody's coming and nobody was, basically, Candy wanted to invite Nene, but that ain't gonna work. So speaking of Nene, she's sitting in the kitchen with Gregg. They're having to talk about how her wig was kind of throwing me off in that scene. Like, I didn't like the way the front looked. It just looked like it didn't blend in well. I appreciate her trying to do something different, but bitch, no, I didn't like it. But she's talking to Gregg about, the leopard lunch and how she felt like it was a fail and it didn't go the right way. And she kind of blamed it on the other ladies to why it didn't, express sisterhood like she wanted it to. Bitch, that's your fault. You planned the event. How you talking about, it didn't go the right way? That's your problem, meaning that's what we all be talking about. When stuff goes wrong, it is never your fault. This is literally the thing that you planned for the sisterhood, quote unquote, table event for everybody come and talk and stuff. First of all, you invited 600 different strangers that nobody knew. And then you want to show up 2.5 hours late. Don't nobody got time for that, Nene. Show your ass up on time. Like, I get CPT, but bitch, like, no. Take your ass, especially your own event, show up on time. And then, she was glad that Porsha showed up. They kind of were able to talk, but Porsha at the dinner wanted to say, you know, like, we'll talk another time, because honestly, if I'm Porsha, I'm not going to say my problems with you to these random ass strangers at the other end of the table. And of course she's like, yeah, Kenya shut up for 7 minutes, but I'm glad that bitch left anyways. So then she heard about the couples night, and she's like, yeah, how dare they? We invented couple night, Gregg. They just gonna disrespect me like that. Now, Nene, couples night has been a thing before you and after you, bitch. You didn't make up this whole couples night thing just because you, like, in the season you were doing it back in the day, bitch. You did not create it. Like, I'm so sick of you thinking like you just own everything. But you deserve to be left out, bitch, because can't nobody fuck with you. Nobody likes you. So then Gregg mentions how he got tagged in a post that Kenya did for the charity that her and Marc are doing for, like, Black Men's Brunch or something like that. And Gregg is like, yeah, I got tagged, but of course I can't go if my wife's not going. Now, in the meantime, everybody's getting ready for the kickball tournament, right? So everybody's showing up. And I really enjoyed this scene a lot. It was just good and refreshing to see something different. So everybody's showing up in their little tight ass tights. Porsha booty, y'all, is just I swear it has its own gravitational pull. Like, the shit is just big. So everybody's picking their teams. For Kenya, it is Team Twirl. For Candy, it's Team Hurricane. Eva, pregnant ass, showed up. She's like, I'm gonna cheer from the sidelines. She gave us like a breakdown, like football replay on the sidelines. But Kenya picked Marlo. Like, that was very different to see. Honestly, if you ask me, I do think Kenya and Marlo have like a base level respect for each other, but they know, like, they attack each other for sport. Like, they do it because they know it is good entertainment and it's fun. They love picking at each other, but at the base of it all, I think they genuinely do, like, mess with each other and are okay with being cordial around each other. We've seen it before. They high-five during the kickball game. Like, they're straight. And that was fun to see. And then I guess because Eva couldn't play, she brought her friend. I guess her name was like Barbie or something like that. But Team Twirl just put a whooping on Candy's team. And if you ask me, I think it's because Candy's team was full of all the donka-donks. Can't nobody run with all that just shit packed behind them. They carrying luggage. So they all sit down after Kenya won, and they're talking about how, you know, oh, everybody's not here. Nene wasn't invited. And Kenya's like, oh, really? She wasn't? Like, and everybody's like, no, that's not fair. Like, if we're all going to move on, we're going to do this thing. Because they did, like group sister hug and stuff. So they're like, we all got to figure out a way to move on. Now, they tell Candy and Kenya kind of use this kickball thing as a preempt to, like, introducing the girls or telling the girls about the trip to Greece, because they want to know, okay, if we get together, are we going to be cool? Like, can we chill? And since they did okay with the kickball, they, you know, tell them, hey, we're going to go to Athens, Greece. This should be fun. And Kenya, of course, is like, now, if it was just my trip, of course, I'm not inviting no hypocritical backstabbing, like, name-calling bitch. But because Candy is also the host, of course she's going to invite Nene. But the whole couples bowling thing that Kenya was talking about, she's like, yeah, it's all couples, but, you know, Nene wasn't invited. They all know that Gregg was tagged in, you know, the charity thing, and so they kind of told her, like, that's not cool. Like, if somebody did that to you, you wouldn't like it. Nene said the same thing, like, bitch, like, I know if I had tagged only Marc Daly in it, you would be having a whole new brand new baby. And that is absolutely true. Y'all look for reasons to poke at each other. It's super petty, but whatever. What are we gonna do about it? So speaking of Mr. Marc Daly and Kenya, they have a little family moment taking their baby to swim lessons. Y'all, that baby is so freaking cute. Like, Marc holding the baby right beside him. They look just like god dang alike. Like, they are twins. Oh, excuse me, y'all. So after they take the baby swimming, her eyes are like popping up real big out of the water. But they sit down and she's talking to him about, obviously, Nene and the charity event. You know, she's like, look, I don't feel comfortable. This woman's tried to fight me. She's called me names, talked about my child, calling her a buffalo. And Marc is just like, yeah, but I've gone after people and I'm not defenseless or something like that. He's like, you acting like you can't do nothing. He's like, look, we're going to put everything aside. And you can tell Kenya on her face is like, babe, like, I'm telling you, I don't fuck with this woman. So you need to get with the hint, get with the program. You don't fuck with her either. But Marc insists on doing the opposite of what Kenya said. I swear he does it for sport. It's like, whatever Kenya says, I'm going to do the exact opposite because I can. I know she'll listen to me because I'm very assertive. He basically backs her down into a corner until Kenya gives up. Now, it's very ironic that she does that with Marc, but when it comes to the women, Kenya will spar all day. But as soon as Marc Daly says something, it's like, sir, yes, sir. But he's like, oh, we're not doing it. It's charity. Like, you're going to have to get over it, basically. And, like, Kenya, of course, is annoyed. She's like, whatever, like, and he's like, we're a couple, remember? And so she's like, oh, babe, like, the next time you jump in the pool, what did he say to the baby? He said, next time we throw mommy in the pool, she's not going to come back up. I was like, what kind of dark ass joke is that? Like, Marc, the way he be making jokes about Kenya and, like, kind of real passive aggressive, like, I don't think he liked Kenya that much. Like, I think he accidentally impregnated this woman, or Kenya popped a hole in the condom because at least she wanted a baby. If anything, Kenya wants a baby more than a husband. So she might have got the baby out of him and is just dealing with the marriage as, you know, collateral, okay? So after that, we get to the couples night, right? Everybody's going to the bowling alley. Kenya and Marc get there first. And she's like, yeah, you know, it's a date night. We got the Nene. You know, we should sneak in late. You know, have sexy time. He's like, oh, sexy time, is it? She's like, well, you know, compared to what you say, it's like, ooh, man, me caveman. Me want sex now. And, like, the way that we're joking with each other, it just makes me feel like the sex is so awkward. You know, like, I don't think they really be getting at it like that. Like, I don't think they know how to make love. Like, it just looks weird. And the fact that Kenya has to assert herself for, you know, any type of intimacy with Marc is kind of like, Marc, do you even want to sleep with her? Like, are you basically forcing yourself to sleep with her? Because he just looks at her like side-eyed most of the time when it comes to, like, wanting to do stuff together. Like, he looks like he absolutely dreads any type of intimacy with Kenya. But the rest of the people come up, and Todd, Candy, this is the first time he'll be meeting Dennis. Dennis comes, and, you know, they're both from Detroit, and, you know, Dennis kind of joking about how, you know, it's hard to handle these Detroit women. They like, man, it's something else. Like, they were just kind of vibing like that. So they started ready to play the bowling game. Eva showed up, but she not bowling. Porsha showed up, and her Cynthia was like, damn, Porsha, you brought the balls with you. Now, Porsha, why you wear this tight ass dress? No, good goddamn well, you can't bowl in that shit. But I feel like she's constantly being like super sexual, so she can remind Dennis, you know, what he got at home. But regardless of what you wear, Porsha, Dennis wants to stick his dick in something else, he's gonna do it with his ugly frog toad looking ass. It's gonna happen. So yeah, they do the nicknames. Candy's hot chocolate, Kenya was something else. Todd was Zaddy. Like, they had a good time bowling. So I guess they kind of take a break to eat and drink or whatever. And a couple of the girls like to kind of go to the side and discuss, obviously, the charity event and how they see Kenya's kind of more, you know, subdued because Marc is there. They all laughing. And, you know, Candy's talking to Porsha and Cynthia about how Nene wasn't invited. And, you know, she doesn't think it was cool. And Kenya finally walks over like, what are you bitches talking about? And they like, you. So then, you know, Porsha ends up confronting Kenya too about the whole Tanya situation, because she's like, you know, if this is a couple's night, everybody should be here, you know, especially with you and Tanya, you guys actually got along in the beginning. So it's just really unfortunate, it's just sad that something unfortunate happened between you two. And Kenya's like, really? It was unfortunate? And it's like, bitch, yes, it was. Like, because it was so unnecessary. You went like way above 10, you know, bringing the damn cookie bitch, who apparently now, I didn't know this bitch had a mugshot. They posted it. She went to jail for fraud. So, bitch, you was committing fraud to open up a cookie bakery. That's what you doing? Like, I can't. But nonetheless, Kenya was like, oh, it's unfortunate. Portia's like, yes, I think you calling my close friend a cunt very unfortunate. But she's like, it's none of your business. Of course, Kenya was telling her to back out. Do I think Porsha should get involved in it? Necessarily not. I mean, it's cool if you want to stick up for your friend, but ultimately let Tanya and Kenya duke it out, and whoever wins, wins. Whoever, you know, gets on top and, you know, can figure out the situation, let it be. So then, of course, they go back and they're talking about, oh, it's fun, like everybody's not here, and it's like, where's Nene? And Kenya's like, she wasn't invited or something like that. Marc's like, no, she was. Like, I invited her. I've been talking to Gregg. And she's like, no. And she's like, it's a couples thing. And they're like, well, where's Tanya too? She's like, I invited Tanya, or she wasn't invited or something like that. But we see the flashback. And Kenya absolutely did invite Tanya. She called and she was like, well, it's a couples night. She's like, well, I don't think Paul's going to make it. And Kenya made sure to reiterate, well, it's couples. So obviously Tanya's taking the hint that like she doesn't want to be there by herself. Or obviously Kenya doesn't want her there unnecessarily if Paul ain't gonna be there. So if you pushing for Tanya not to come, why do we see Eva and Cynthia coming and they don't have their mates? Like, it's very obvious Kenya wanted to push it to be this couples night, out of trying to piss Tanya and Nene off to me. That's how it came off. But Marc is like, no, everybody's invited regardless because I want to meet everybody before the charity. This would be a time for us to get to know each other. And so they're like, well, for the charity event, Porsha and Candy are kind of getting on her like, why aren't you doing something? Like, we need to do better than that. Like, you need to invite Nene because Nene invited you to her lunch. You win. And Kenya basically is getting like the brunt of everybody trying to be like, girl, get over the Nene situation, especially with Marc like hovering on top of her, telling her like, no, Gregg and Nene are coming. And she's like, well, Marc, you can invite Nene. He's like, no, like, put it to the side, Kenya. And literally as they're speaking about the two, here comes Gregg and Nene. Nene is coming in like all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I don't know what had Nene, I ain't trying to put it out there, but the rumors that be swirling around about Nene, okay? I mean, let's move on. But nonetheless, she came in all hopped up on Mountain Dew. And, talking about, hey, girls, hey, Kenya. Ooh, your titties looking big. And I can appreciate Kenya wasn't being fake. Like, I can be cordial, but I'm not going to be phony. Like, bitch, don't try to hug me. We don't fuck with each other. Like, I get that because I'm the same way. Like, if I don't like you, I'm not going to give you this phoniness regardless. And, Kenya wasn't having it. She sat her ass down. Nene went around hugging everybody. And basically, Marc pulled them to the side and was like, look, I want you guys to come. And Gregg's like, look, but there's a problem. I ain't going nowhere my wife can't go. And Marc was like, oh no, like, I'm not into separate, splitting up couples. I would never want to do that. I want both of you to come. And Kenya and Ken agrees. And Ken's like, yeah, I agree. And then everybody's like, who the fuck is Ken? And like, she's sitting down and oh no, before that, that's when Kenya was like, oh no, I'm not inviting Nene. Marc, Ken, he's like, bringing in Ken, that's not what we're doing today, Ken. And everybody's like, damn, like, Kenya can't say shit in this relationship. Porsha, Cynthia, Candy, they all over there like, who the fuck is Ken? Like, we never seen this woman before. We get Kenya, who's a goddamn devil who loves antagonizing people, bringing in marching bands to somebody's hair event. Like, that's Kenya. But Ken, even Nene was like, bitch, I love Ken. Ken knows how to be quiet. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's what Ken know how to do. But Porsha made me laugh because she really honestly kind of called it out. She's like, we'll talk about it later. Oh, I know what that means. That means Marc gonna get in the ass when you get home. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what that means. And then they sit down and he's like, oh, we're united front. And it's like, really, Marc? Are you really? Because when Kenya's saying something, you should be riding for your woman. Every time Kenya, he basically threw her under the bus when it came to the Tanya situation. And Porsha's like, dang, at least Dennis ain't like that. Dennis is gang. And it's like, oh, is he really though? Is he really though, Porsha? He gang when it comes to, giving you that old ass ring back before he cheated on your ass. But is he gang when he's in public with other females? I don't think so. Obviously, he's failed that test. But, Nene, Gregg, and Kenya and Marc kind of do like a handshake, like, we're gonna put it to the side. This is for charity. Everybody's gonna come. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. Let's do this. They do like 1, 2, 3, like high five. And then I think everybody like ends up leaving after that, and that's where the episode ends. So y'all tell me what you thought about the episode. Do y'all like this new housewife who goes by the name of Ken? As far as the relationship with Cynthia and Mike go, how do you feel about them? Matter of fact, I didn't think I even talked about Cynthia and Mike. Okay, so Mike wrote the book. Obviously, y'all know Open Mike, right? And it brings up the whole cheating scandal, the situation, and how he was cheating on both of his previous wives. And Cynthia's like, look, you wrote this book. That means a lot of people are going to be into the salaciousness. And she's like, I just want to know, like, what makes this different? How do you know I can trust you? And Mike took a turn for the left, and I realized that, oh, Mike, you ain't this old, calm, collected, like upstanding guy that I thought. The way he tried to do the bait and switch on Cynthia and turn it around on her, like, oh, hell no. Like, he was sitting there like, oh, but you're not perfect. You sitting here judging me. And Cynthia's like, no, I'm not. I'm not judging you. He's like, because you want to sit there and say, oh, you're not going to cheat. But I even though you never shown signs of cheating, that doesn't mean you won't. And Cynthia's like, oh, no, I'm not cheating. He's like, you don't know that. And she's like, nigga, listen to me. Ain't nobody cheating over here. Don't try to turn this around on me. And he was getting like real, like, puffing his shoulders up. And she's like, look, this is why we need to figure out to go to counseling, because we need to figure out how to argue. He's like, well, you don't know how to argue either. Nigga, that's why she's sitting there offering up counseling, nigga. Like, what the are you dumb? Like, and then she's like, you don't know how to sit and, communicate. You walk out, and she walks out the door, giving an example, and he's like, yeah, because I ain't dealing with the bullshit. Like, typical man stuff. Now, first of all, Mike, I already started not trusting you, kinda, when you had 1,000 women come in as your best friends and not a one man came in, and you work in a male dominated industry. To me, that makes me feel like either these men don't trust you, or you have been guilty of, fucking with another man's girl, or like he knows he's cute. Mike knows he's the, the brute, tall, light-skinned nigga who every girl likes, and he does it because he can. He cheats because he's beautiful. He's nice looking. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But the personality trait that he displayed right there when Cynthia simply just tried to confront him about, his cheating ways, was a little sketch. I don't like that. Especially with when she obviously like, I don't know if we need that. Like, we know how to talk? It's like, no, you don't. Y'all don't know how to talk this out. You need to figure out why you cheating on women. You need to understand, because you even though you're very much open about writing it in the book what you did, you don't want to be confronted about it. You don't want to be asked to explain why you did something. You don't want to take real accountability of the cheatations that you did, because if you did, when Cynthia asked, you would have reassured her and be like, yeah, you know what, honey, I learned from that. I understand that, I probably was cheating on them because, so-and-so like this. I grew up this way, whatever. I don't have trust in women, whatever it was. But you didn't give Cynthia that. All you did was give her basically your back. You turned your back to her and just kind of like made it a problem that she was asking you, and then tried to make it seem like she was judging you when she absolutely wasn't. Like, Cynthia, you should have been had those answers of what Mike was doing. Hell, like, when them women came in, it would have been like speed dating on crack. I would have been one by one asking them women what was going on with Mike, because I'm a, probable cause, probability. You got 10 women in that lunch. He done fucked at least 2 of them, okay? And that's just true tea. So you might want to start going around asking questions with his friends, what Mike was doing. Because if he says, oh, if I mess it up, that's going to be on me. What do you mean if? You should know that that's not going to happen. So, yeah, that was the episode. I had to think back on that, Cynthia and, Mike's situation. But nonetheless, y'all tell me what you thought about the episode. Drop down in the comments and put a heart emoji if you would like a shout out on my future videos. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ggdoll0321. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.